Tonight on ABC News Live Prime, the public feud explodes between President Trump and Elon Musk. Once his closest ally, the president now blasting Musk for criticizing his massive spending bill. President Trump saying Elon was wearing thin and I asked him to leave. Musk with post after post online claiming, quote, without me, Trump would have lost the election, and calling for him to be impeached. Prosecutors revealing their plan to use alleged CEO killer Luigi Mangioni's handwritten words against him. His diary appearing to show why he allegedly chose his victim, writing the target is insurance. It checks every box. The devastating impact of those U.S. aid cuts. We are on the ground in Uganda.
My worry is that the children are going to lose lives. The teachers are going to lose lives. This is a time when the children need us more.
A smoky haze blanketing the skies through tomorrow, and that Saharan dust cloud now sweeping across Florida, and the tornado and severe storm threat. We are tracking it all. An NBA final matchup few expected gets underway tonight, and we'll tell you all the history being made on the hardwood. Looking for love or just looking for a great piece of real estate? We'll introduce you to the self-proclaimed New York City icon whose life advice has gone viral.
Best pickup line that you've ever heard?
God, you're beautiful.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Linsey Davis.
Had a good evening to you. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm DeMarco Morgan in for Linsey Davis tonight. On this busy Thursday night, we're getting reports of air raid sirens in Kyiv. Our team is on the ground there in a bunker, and we'll have the latest in just a moment. But we began with a high-stakes breakup between the world's richest man and the American president. After days of simmering tension, today was an all-out brawl on social media. At first, they came to blows over the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, the Trump-backed budget that gutted incentives for electric vehicles. Bad news for Musk's company, Tesla, the very same car Trump paraded on the White House lawn this spring. Now, Musk called the budget bill an abomination that would add $2.5 trillion to the national debt and told his followers to kill the bill. Less than a week ago, Trump celebrated Musk's work with Doge in the Oval Office.
He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon.
Musk now claiming President Trump would have lost the election without his help. The tech billionaire poured more than $250 million into Trump's campaign, but now the president likens him to another disgruntled former employee. And here's ABC Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce with the latest.
Tonight, the stunning collapse of an alliance between the President of the United States and the world's richest man, their relationship exploding in front of the world. In the Oval Office, President Trump for the first time addressing Elon Musk, who's been taking aim at Trump's budget bill, saying, kill the bill.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore.
For days, Musk has railed against the president's bill, calling it a disgusting abomination that would add $2.5 trillion to the national debt. Today, Trump accusing Musk of being out for himself, angry that the bill cuts the electric vehicle tax credits that benefit Tesla owners.
I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden, he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate.
Musk left the administration just 5 days ago. He had a black eye. Trump revealing today he offered Musk makeup.
You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is.
Musk spent more than $288 million to help elect Trump. The president says he could have won without him.
I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway.
Musk watching today, furious, posting, quote, without me, Trump would have lost the election. The president gave Musk extraordinary power, allowing him to eliminate entire federal agencies and to fire tens of thousands of workers. But tonight, Trump portraying Musk as another disgruntled former employee.
They leave, and they wake up in the morning, and the glamour's gone, the whole world is different, and they become hostile.
The president says he's disappointed by this turn.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Musk erupting to his more than 220 million followers. On Trump's claim he knew what was in the bill, Musk posting, "False. This bill was never shown to me even once." The president firing back, posting Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. And tonight, Trump is now threatening Musk's $20 billion in government contracts, saying the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. Musk continuing to fire back late today, suggesting Trump's tariffs will plunge the nation into recession, even suggesting impeachment, and leveling a deeply personal attack. Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Referring to Jeffrey Epstein, who is accused of sex trafficking and who took his life in prison. Late today, reporters asking the president.
Mr. President, any response to Elon Musk?
The president did not answer.
And Mary Bruce joins us now. And Mary, Tesla isn't the only chess piece that Elon Musk is trying to play tonight.
Yeah, DeMarco, tonight he is threatening to decommission his Dragon spacecraft. It's the only U.S. vessel that goes to and from the International Space Station. And take a look at this. This shows what happened as this feud escalated throughout the day. Tesla stock plunging, down 14%. By the end of the day, the value of the company down some $150 billion, DeMarco.
All right, Mary Bruce at the White House. Mary, thank you. All right, the NTSB partly blames human error for a harrowing fire on board an American Airlines flight. That's according to a new preliminary report. The NTSB says the right engine blade was fractured and a number of engine parts had been incorrectly installed. The flight took off from Colorado Springs in March with 178 people on board. The crew reported engine trouble and the plane diverted to Denver and landed safely. But while it was taxiing, the right engine caught fire, filling the cabin with smoke. At least a dozen were hurt. There are air quality alerts from Nebraska to the Great Lakes to New York. Canadian wildfire smoke is clouding the Midwest, and several cities are experiencing hazy skies seen here on Chicago's skyline. Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our partner station, WABC, is tracking it all for us. Lee, good to see you.
To see you too, DeMarco. One more night here in this smoky stretch, and then smoke really thins out tomorrow. But we still have air quality alerts from the Midwest into the Great Lakes and Northeast, places like Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, and then New York to Boston. There's also a severe thunderstorm watch over central New York near Binghamton. Now let's track this smoke. It's really going to thin out over the Great Lakes during the day tomorrow, so the air is getting healthier. We're still hazy in the Northeast, mostly smoke aloft, and that's going to be replaced and washed out by showers and thunderstorms, unfortunately, to start the weekend. Speaking of showers and storms, we get severe weather as we go into the evening hours. We're looking at the southern plains into the southwest. Tornado watch has been multiple tornado reports across parts of New Mexico and into Texas. Some of those tornadoes could be strong and large. Flash flooding a possibility from Oklahoma City to Springfield. This is the beginning of a multi-day severe weather event that will take us into the weekend. It starts out Texas, Oklahoma, ultimately into the Tennessee Valley by Saturday, and all the way to Atlanta into the Carolinas by the weekend. DeMarco?
All right, Lee Goldberg. Lee, thank you. The man accused of firebombing a peaceful Jewish demonstration in Boulder, Colorado, is now formally charged with 118 crimes, including 28 counts of attempted murder. Mohammed Sabri Solomon appeared in court today, and he's accused of tossing 2 Molotov cocktails into the crowd, injuring 15 people. Federal officials say Solomon is an Egyptian national who overstayed his tourist visa, and his wife and 5 children are in ICE custody. A federal judge temporarily blocking efforts to deport the family until they get a hearing sometime next week. Next tonight, alleged CEO killer Luigi Mangione and a look at his handwritten diary. Authorities say Mangione wrote, quote, "The target is insurance. It checks every box." And prosecutors pointing to 3 other initials written in the diary. Could there have been a different target at one point? Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, prosecutors say in the months before Luigi Mangione allegedly gunned down United Healthcare chief Brian Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel, the suspect revealed a motive in this diary. In handwritten pages, they say Mangione wrote about rebelling against the deadly, greed-fueled health insurance cartel, saying, "I don't feel any doubt about whether it's right, justified. The target is insurance. It checks every box." Mangione even imagined the future news headline, "Insurance CEO killed at annual investors conference." In a new filing detailing the evidence against Mangione, prosecutors pointed to bullets found at the scene, etched with the words deny, delay, depose, arguing it shows an intent to violently broadcast a social and political message to the public at large.
That it was intended to evoke terror.
And tonight we're learning how Thompson was allegedly stalked. The night before the shooting, prosecutors say Mangione is seen on surveillance video appearing to talk on a cell phone as his target walked past him on the street. The new court filing also shows Mangione may have considered a different target with the initials KMD, but decided it would be perceived mostly as sick and do nothing to spread awareness, improve people's lives. It's not clear what those initials, KMD, stand for. Mangione has pleaded not guilty.
Now to developing news tonight. Russia is retaliating for those stunning drone attacks deep inside the country. There's a report tonight of a high-rise building that was hit in the northern Ukraine city of Chernihiv. Our team on the ground in Kyiv reports air defenses have been activated in that city. And the city's mayor said in a post, Russian drones have entered the city. This is a look right here from where our team is staying in Kyiv, and they went below ground to a bunker, and they are currently safe and doing okay. That's good to note. We will stay on top of this developing story and keep you posted with the latest. And President Trump announced a sweeping new travel ban on 12 countries and partial restrictions on 7 more. Countries he says pose a high security risk, saying, quote, we don't want them. That's a follow-through on a campaign promise to bring a new version of the so-called Muslim ban from his first term. And here's ABC's senior national correspondent, Terry Moran, with the latest.
Confusion and frustration around the world after President Trump announced a new travel ban.
I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others.
Trump released this message overnight. It came amid concerns over tariffs and the chaos surrounding his spending bill, and that led Democrats to question the timing. Trump responded in the Oval Office today.
The countries that we have don't have things under control. And why now? I can say that it can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country.
This new travel ban, which goes into effect on Monday, is two-tiered and even broader than the one he ordered in his first administration. First, the red tier. That's a total ban on travel to the United States by the citizens of 12 countries. Second, the yellow tier, sweeping restrictions on citizens from 7 more countries, including Cuba and Venezuela. They cannot come to the U.S. permanently or get tourist or student visas.
He's right there.
The new ban comes days after an Egyptian man who had overstayed his visa was arrested and charged in connection with the terror attack in Boulder, Colorado. But Egypt is not on the president's list.
Well, because Egypt has been a country that we deal with very closely. They have things under control.
All right, let's look at the impacts of the president's new travel ban with Kenji Kazuka of the International Rescue Committee. Thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate it and good to see you.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so the ban imposes full restrictions on 12 countries and partial restrictions on 7 more, including people from Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and Myanmar. Several of these countries are at risk for humanitarian emergencies. Your response right now to this policy?
We are deeply concerned that this travel ban proclamation issued last night by the president would have devastating impacts for refugee and immigrant families in the United States who will be left separated from their children, from spouses, from other family members, just because of the country they're from. This policy is unnecessary and it will do great harm to many communities in the United States. It is not something that we welcome in any way.
And speaking of doing great harm, Kenji, in your words, what kind of people and what kind of circumstances will this ban impact?
So it will have impacts on U.S. citizens, on people who hold green cards, on people who have been granted asylum, on people who have been admitted to this country as refugees. Some of them will be unable to sponsor their family members to be able to reunite with them here in the United States because of this ban. If they're from these 19 countries that are on the list of restricted countries.
And the ban does make exceptions for persecuted minorities, including from Afghanistan and Iran. Will that be sufficient to protect refugees?
It's really not clear exactly who those exceptions are going to protect. There is a narrow exception for some individuals from Afghanistan and some individuals from Iran. But more broadly, it is not clear whether all refugees from those countries would be provided those exceptions, and there aren't explicit exceptions for refugees from other countries like Venezuela, Haiti, and elsewhere.
And President Trump said the Secretary of State conducted a security review of high-risk regions as the basis for the ban, including rates of visa overstays and a lack of verifying traveler identity. So what would your recommendation be as an alternative policy to address these national security concerns?
To the extent that there are security concerns, U.S. officials have ways of addressing those. Refugees are some of the most vetted people in the world. They go through years sometimes of background checks and security screenings. Those are sufficient to address these kinds of concerns, and we would urge the administration to return to those standards and to ensure that people who have in some cases been waiting months or years to reunite with their family members are able to do so after they've been through those processes, which are more than sufficient.
And in light of this new ban, what will your organization do to continue to provide aid to refugees from these countries?
The International Rescue Committee will continue to serve our clients, be they asylum seekers, refugees, or other immigrants, to assist them with accurate information, with legal assistance, workforce development, and any other services they need. And we will stand by them as they continue to fight really for their families and to ensure the unity of their families.
All right, Kenji Kazuka. Kenji, thank you, and good to see you as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, turning now to the Sean Diddy Combs trial and some dramatic moments in court. Today, the judge threatened to kick the hip-hop mogul out of his own trial for making facial expressions at the jury during testimony. The judge telling Combs' defense lawyer that is absolutely unacceptable. Also today, Jane, another alleged victim of one of Combs' ex-girlfriends, took the stand crying as she went into graphic detail about her first alleged freak-off, which she and Combs allegedly called hotel nights. She is central to the government's case against Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to all allegations. And joining us tonight, ABC News legal contributor Shauna Lloyd, who was also inside the courtroom. Always good to see you.
Great to see you.
So what do you make of the judge scolding the defense because of Combs' behavior?
Correct. Well, we have to know that the defendant under no circumstance is supposed to engage with the jury in any way. And during this intense cross-examination of Brianna, he literally almost turned to the jury and was like nodding his head like, do you see? And like making eye contact to say, do you hear what's happening? And that's just not allowed. And so the judge really put his foot down and said, this cannot happen. Otherwise, I'll have you removed or I'll give a curative instruction, which no defendant wants to go out to the jury because you don't want to come across as though you were either threatening or that you were doing something improper.
And we also heard from Jane, who testified that she dated Combs up until his arrest. What did she tell the jury?
So she essentially told the jury that she met him very early on, and very early into their relationship, he brought up this idea of having these hotel nights, her fantasy with another man. Is it something she's interested in? She said she went along with it. She said the first couple of times it was exciting. She used words like exhilarating and that it was just something taboo that she was doing with someone that she loved. She later talked about not wanting to do them and that she communicated this to Combs. And she said that she was concerned and she felt obligated because he was paying her rent at the time of the place that she was living.
So why is she so key to the prosecution's case?
Well, she's the most recent victim. So we're talking about showing pattern in practice and that this isn't something that's older, can't be remembered. There was a lot of drug use. This is supposed to be something different, something that's very concrete and solid that the jury can really wrap their hands around and see this continued coercion. So we haven't seen the coercion yet. We've seen that she said she didn't want to participate, but we haven't seen exactly what it was that kept her doing these freak-offs and hotel nights.
All right, let's talk about Brianna Bangala. She faced cross again today. The defense basically just called her a liar, accused her of just all-out lying. What do you make of that story in her testimony?
Well, I'll tell you, it was very intense in there. Everyone was very much on the edge of their seat because what they brought forth was that he was at a Bad Boy Tour reunion and that he was in New Jersey over the dates that she alleged that he dangled her over the balcony.
This was back in 2016.
Correct. So it was very intense. She kind of, was like, I don't know, I can't remember, I wouldn't say that. Her answers were very non-solid, which was the jury was paying rapt attention. They were taking notes, they were looking up. You could see that they were very aware that her very credibility was on the line.
All right, Shauna Lloyd, on top of it, as always. Good to see you, and thanks a lot for being here, of course. All right, coming up, the unbelievable mix-up that sent a delivery driver down an active tarmac. But first, it's being called the deadly result of the Trump administration's decision to cut foreign aid contracts. And tonight's Prime Focus, we visit orphanages and clinics in Uganda. Those who once received help from the U.S. for their life-saving meds face an uncertain future. When we come back, stay with us.
We have almost 30 children with AIDS here, and some of our teachers have AIDS as well. Cut in USAID, the children are no longer getting their medicine in time.
Earlier this year, the Trump administration terminated 90% of its foreign aid contracts, cutting nearly $60 billion in the process. And now the world is just starting to see its impacts. Tonight, ABC News Live goes inside orphanages and clinics in Uganda, where aid workers, nurses, and volunteers show us firsthand their challenges to ration life-saving medications for HIV-positive patients, many of them children, medications that were once funded by the U.S. Uganda has one of the highest rates of HIV in the world and relied on that aid. And in our latest Prime Focus, ABC News' Inez de la Catera shows us how these cuts may have cost lives.
These children have dreams. Different dreams.
You'll be a good teacher, right?
Others want to be doctors, teachers, models, engineers. So the future is bright for them.
In a hillside village on the border of Kampala, Uganda, nearly 200 children at this school and orphanage are hoping for a better future. Learning to read and finding moments of joy, playing soccer with their friends.
Most of the children here lost their parents, and for those that have them, they can't take care of them. They can't pay their tuition, they can't pay for their medication, they can't pay for food.
But behind their smiles lies something far more complicated. Some of these children are living with HIV, having lost one or both parents to the disease.
Kiss your hand. Wash your hand here.
Patrick Senyondo founded and runs the nonprofit Light the Future Foundation that focuses on education and provides the children with life-saving care.
Light the Future Foundation was established in 2018. It has saved hundreds and hundreds of children by providing them with education, accommodation, health facilities. My foundation mostly saves children who are HIV affiliated and those that are abandoned by their parents. We have almost 30 children with AIDS here, and some of our teachers have AIDS as well. Cut in USAID, the children are no longer getting their medicine in time.
83% of the U.S. Agency for International Development's programs will be canceled following a 6-week review by the Trump administration. USAID has provided humanitarian efforts around the world since 1961.
On January 20th, the Trump administration announced a 90-day suspension of aid.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda.
Then, a termination of most contracts. Chaos and uncertainty ensued, upending these children's lives.
We used to have medicine for more than a month. Now they are giving medicine for a week.
With cuts being made, Patrick tells us he's resorted to rationing the children's medication, a risky practice that experts say could lead to drug resistance, treatment failure, and increased risk of HIV transmission.
At this time, we have no choice, and at this time, the future of these children is uncertain. I'm so worried.
In February, the children's 28-year-old teacher, Miss Mary, photographed here feeding the children in a yellow dress, passed away after Patrick says she couldn't get her own ARV medication, antiretrovirals that treat HIV, as a result of the USAID cuts. In another rural part of Uganda, Bayo Emmanuel, who founded and directs the Bright Star Children's Center, shared a similar story.
The cutoff of the medication of the HIV ARVs has really, affected us so much. It made us, reach at an extent of, losing a life.
bio telling ABC News that the 8 HIV-positive orphans he cared for used to get their medicine from the local hospital for free. After the cuts, he was told he'd have to pay, and because he couldn't afford to do so, the orphanage ran out.
Without this medication, 14-year-old Migande Andrew quickly fell ill.
He got weaker and weaker every day and, lost his life in the process.
The community he loved gathering to say their goodbyes, burying him on February 21st. Migande and Mary, just 2 of an estimated 53,000 HIV-related deaths worldwide resulting from USAID cuts, according to Boston University's PEPFAR Impact Tracker. The tool projects some 6,000 of those deaths are children, and that there could be more than 9,000 children's lives lost by the end of 2025 if services aren't restored. Earlier this year, the Trump administration announced it was terminating 90% of its foreign aid contracts, cutting some $60 billion in funding for international programs that supported everything from famine to fighting infectious diseases. Still, no permanent decision has been made about funding for PEPFAR, the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief, credited with saving more than 25 million lives around the world since it was created in 2003.
But we've also issued waivers because we don't want anybody see anybody die or anybody be harmed in the short term. But we're going to conduct a review, and we are going to have foreign aid in this country that is going to further the national interest of the United States.
The Trump administration denies any lives have been lost in connection to recent cuts, arguing life-saving programs were waived and reinstated. Secretary Rubio defended the administration's decision in a tense exchange with the Senate Foreign Relations Committee in May.
You stood by while Elon Musk took a chainsaw to USAID and other assistance programs.
I'm actually very proud of the work we've done with USAID.
Activists in Uganda, which has one of the highest rates of HIV in the world, say the impact has been devastating. 70% of the country's HIV response relied on aid from the U.S., many crucial programs not waived or reinstated. Drop-in centers were forced to close, creating barriers for people needing key medical care, access to preventative medications becoming even harder for the LGBTQ community in a country where being gay can result in the death penalty. To the west of Kampala, all workers at the Family Hope Center in the town of Jinja were laid off after its USAID-funded grant was terminated.
Since March, we've been working for free.
Though unpaid, the workers are continuing to volunteer their time.
If we are not working, that means more people are going to get HIV, more people will drop out of care. So we have to be here to encourage our clients to continue taking the medicine and to teach those that are negative to stay negative through the prevention information that we give them.
Their staff helping patients like this mother and her baby.
I pray everything changes, everything gets well, because it's too much.
The Family Hope Center has provided comprehensive HIV care and treatment services since 2005, a lifeline for just under 4,000 patients, now unsure whether they'll be able to find alternative funding.
The biggest part is uncertainty. What's going to happen next? Otherwise, just before the termination of funding or the interruption in funding, we had a well-oiled system of management of HIV.
Back at the orphanage, Patrick is taking it day by day.
Thank you, teacher. Is it morning or good afternoon?
Trying to keep the children's spirits up, unsure of what comes next.
No, we don't explain to them. Just what we do, encourage them and give them motivation.
Your work is neat. Very good. Yeah, keep it up.
We can't tell them because they lose the future of seeing life. It's if you tell one child that we are no more getting medication for AIDS, so you're going to lose your life. That's something we can't do. So we keep quiet. To the American people, to the viewers of ABC News, you have seen the children. There are many They need medication, they need food. We need to pay teachers. Pay attention to teachers, respect teachers. It's when you will achieve your goals. My worry is that the children are going to lose lives. The teachers are going to lose lives. This is the time when the children need us more. This is the time when we have to act so much to encourage these children not to lose efforts of fighting AIDS.
Ines, thank you for that report. By the way, ABC News reached out to the White House for comment on the cuts, but have not heard back. Coming up, a murky brown site along the Baltimore harbor, how 2,000 gallons of oil ended up in the water and how the city plans to clean it up. But first, it's a historic moment on the court with several firsts for the NBA Finals, from a first-time matchup to the age of the players to how much they make. It's all ahead in By the Numbers. All right, welcome back. The NBA Finals kick off tonight with Game 1, and when they face off, the Oklahoma City Thunder and Indiana Pacers will break new ground. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the youngest and cheapest NBA Finals in recent memory. By the numbers, 24.7. That's the average age of the Thunder's players weighted by playoff minutes. That makes them the youngest team to ever win, if they do, since 1980. And usually, teams have to pay more to win, but thanks to collective bargaining agreements, the teams are paying much less in payroll. Now, the Pacers' payroll this season, $169.1 million. The Thunder, even lower, $165.6 million. That's according to Spotrac. Indiana's Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam are the series' highest paid stars, earning $42.2 million each this season. That's a lot of money still. The Thunder and Pacers rank among the NBA's least valuable teams, according to Sportico. The Pacers are valued at $3.74 billion, the Thunder at $3.55 billion. And it is the first time, by the way, since at least 1991 that two bottom 10 franchises have faced off in the finals. Here's another number, 0. That's how many times these teams have won an NBA championship under their current name. Now, the Pacers last won 3 ABA titles in the early 70s. The Thunder's lone title came in 1979 as the Seattle Supersonics. And either way, we're making history tonight right here on ABC. Game on. When we come back, Wicked fans rejoice. We are finally getting a look at part 2 of the film, and it's wicked good. And coming up, it's the story of a daughter trying to protect her mother, even if that mother may be guilty of a horrible crime. Jennings in Georgia star Antonia Gentry joins us to unpack the hit show's new season. Stay with us. Welcome back. A lot of public transit buses in one of the country's biggest cities go up in flames. A delivery driver takes a wrong right onto an active tarmac. And are you ready to defy gravity one more time? These stories and more in tonight's Rundown.
A fire damaged 40 decommissioned public transit buses, including 15 electric buses at a Philadelphia storage yard. When the smoke finally cleared, some of the buses could be seen melted to the ground. No injuries were reported, and the cause of the fire is not yet known. The fire marshal is investigating. Officials in Baltimore say a ruptured pipeline spilled at least 2,000 gallons of oil into the Baltimore harbor. Responders have deployed pollution response equipment, including containment boom, and are actively working to remove all recoverable oil from the waterway. Officials say the spill is currently contained, and an investigation is underway to determine why the pipeline ruptured. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously in favor of U.S. gun manufacturers in a liability lawsuit brought by the government of Mexico. The Mexican government sought to hold the companies accountable for the trafficking of their weapons south of the border, fueling violence by the cartels. Mexico has only one gun store, but it is awash in millions of American-made weapons, most funneled into the country by straw purchasers in the U.S. By one estimate, at least 200,000 guns flow south of the border each year. Video released by the Chicago Department of Aviation shows a delivery car driving onto the tarmac at O'Hare International Airport last month. Video shows a car driving right up next to a plane as luggage handlers approach the lost driver. Police said the vehicle belonged to a confused food delivery driver who accidentally entered an area posted as off-limits to non-airport personnel. After months of anticipation, pre-order chaos, and concerns over potential price hikes due to tariffs, the highly awaited Nintendo Switch 2 is now available. The new console features a larger screen, more storage, and redesigned joysticks. Nintendo is pricing the device at just under $500. The Switch 2 is already sold out at many locations, but gamers can try to find retailers that are carrying the console in store. Get ready to be changed for good, because the trailer for the second Wicked film is here. The trailer features Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande returning as Elphaba and Glinda. The first Wicked film was released in November 2024 and was a critical and commercial success, earning 10 Oscar nominations and 2 wins at the Academy Awards.
All right, time tonight for the latest in our series, Streamlined, where we bring you some of the biggest films and TV series hitting screens worldwide, speaking with some of the actors and creators behind them. And for this mother-daughter duo, it's always been the two of them against the world, but the world has never come at them quite like this. In Jenny and Georgia, Season 3, we see a new version of 16-year-old Jenny, who must decide what it truly means to stand by her mother, Georgia, after she's arrested for murder at her own wedding. All of this while she navigates the everyday challenges of being a teenager. Let's take a look.
Do you think it's going to be mostly freshmen?
Yes.
Okay, Silver just texted me. She's already there. She says it's getting good.
Do you guys ever think about how much you think about what other people think about you, but then they're probably only thinking about what you're thinking about them, but you're not, and then it's just like a cycle?
Got to check it out there. Joining us now is Antonia Gentry, who plays Jenny. Thanks a lot for being with us. We appreciate it. And I hear you're from the ATL.
I am. Thank
Pretty
you so much
cool.
for having me.
And look at you now, just all over the world. We love to see it.
I know.
So let's talk about Season 3. It takes a dark turn. What can viewers expect?
Oh my gosh. When does Jenny and Georgia not take a dark turn? Season 3 takes place shortly after Georgia has been arrested at her wedding for murdering Tom Fuller. And essentially, there's this big legal trial, and I think the season is really all about the trials and tribulations of maintaining relationships with your friends and your families. Basically, this season sees Georgia at rock bottom, and by the end of it, these two women are not the same people they were at the beginning of it. And it's our craziest season yet. I'm so happy it's out. I hope people are thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, talk about crazy. It's like a roller coaster ride, because I mean, it's from one emotion to the next there. And speaking of acting, you are phenomenal, by the way, in this show here. How have you grown as an actress since Season 1?
I
Can
mean,
you see the growth? Can you feel the growth?
people are telling me there's growth, and that's good. That's good. No, I feel like when I first stepped onto set, it was my learning curve. I had to learn very, very fast. It was my first job, real job, biggest job, and it's really shaped me into the professional that I am today.
And the show also touches on some tough issues. I mean, when you mentioned abortion here in Season 3, how important was it, as an actor, to sort of like talk about this, especially when our country is so divided on this issue?
I think one of the things that our show has consistently done well is maintain subject matter that is just super important to start conversations around in our real lives. And what we wanted to showcase was one of the many realities of what it means to be a young woman in the world, and the challenges that come with that. And I think for Ginny and Georgia finally giving Ginny the agency to decide for herself what she wants to do for her future is such a huge step forward in their relationship and developing healthy boundaries, while also underscoring the importance of instilling decision-making and choice in someone's being.
And speaking of journey, a final question. We talked about the ATL. You're from Atlanta.
I'm from Atlanta.
Have you pinched yourself yet and said, this is real?
Yes. Every day.
You're like, every day did I get up, right?
Every single day. I'm like, am I waking up from this dream yet? No, I am truly so incredibly lucky to be able to do the job that I do, to do what I love, and to continue to be a part of a story that reaches so many in more than just an entertaining way. And that's really what I want to continue to do. I think in the future, the projects that I do and the people that I work with, as long as they're stories that mean something to real people and start real meaningful conversations and changes lives for the better, I think that's a privilege even to be a part of. And I now live in the Big Apple. I can't believe it. I've always wanted to live in New York. And yeah, I'm so grateful.
I love that. Your future is so bright. I know it sounds cliche, but it is true.
Thank
it is
you.
very true. Thanks a lot for coming on, Antonio.
Thank you for having me.
It. Of course, always. And by the way, you can stream season 3 of Ginny in Georgia right now on Netflix. All right, looking for love or just looking for a great piece of real estate? Lori Cooper is your woman. The self-proclaimed New York City icon has been working as a broker in the Big Apple's housing market for decades, but just recently, her life advice has taken her to social media stardom. And our Roxy Diaz spent the day with the New York native to talk about this new fame in her second act.
If you're not starting your day with a "Hey Girls" from Lori Cooper.
Hey girls, hey girls, hey girls.
You're missing out on the real talk behind luxury listings and hot takes on love. She's an Upper East Side power broker and self-proclaimed icon. Her career built square foot by square foot. And her social media presence has recently exploded. More than 100,000 followers on Instagram and nearly 600,000 likes on TikTok.
Hi. Nice to meet you. You're a lifetime New Yorker,
yes,
right?
I'm a lifetime New Yorker. I was born in Brooklyn, which became uber fabulous. We couldn't wait to get out of Brooklyn.
Hilarious.
For a moment, we were in Riverdale, then we moved to Fifth Avenue. And I'm on the same street all these years later.
And her love for New York is a love she shared with her husband of 50 years, Robert.
Tell me how you met your husband.
It was very different. What we had, there was no social media. So where did you meet guys? Well, you met them at school. There were events that were where you could meet somebody face to face, which is actually better than what they're doing now. Because a lot of girls that go online tell me they are so disappointed. They meet someone who's nothing like the picture shows, he's nothing about what he says, and this is the problem. That's how this social media blew up. I know what women are seeking.
Little branch in the West Village. Great sexy little spot for your first date.
It was Lori's son, Michael, who pushed her to start posting that no filter advice online.
I'll just throw out like a word and then she'll just rip.
The rest is internet history.
My son had a lot to do with it because he knows this personality I have since he was born.
Do you feel like you've kind of had like a reinvention of your life and yourself with this new social media?
I saw this was the way of the world. So I started with going Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I watched, I said, I could do this. I'm better than them. I'm more believable than them. And I know because I've lived it and I could give the right advice.
Her platform grew fast and the love poured in. Followers grateful for the gems Lori was dropping on how and where to meet Mr. Right. Lori invites followers to her own community events as a way to help make connections.
So the original concept was maybe with men, but then we thought community was much better. Women and men do come there. Couples come there. It's rather fascinating, asking me advice.
Many of you have been asking me when we're going to have drinks.
We followed Lori to one of her favorite spots in the city.
The evening of dining should be a feel-good experience.
Dante NYC, where she dished out on some rapid-fire advice for dating in the city that never sleeps.
Who should call who first after a date? Should you wait for him?
He should, yes, let him call you. It's the same now as it was 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 years ago. He has to be the aggressor, not you. So wait, if he's not interested, move on.
What's your opinion on going Dutch on a date?
No way. I don't want that guy. He's got to pay for you. I hate that.
Best pickup line that you've ever heard?
God, you're beautiful. I can't take my eyes off you. I'm just attracted to you. I mean, I'm aggressive, but I'm believable, is what he says, and she will love that.
It's blunt, it's fabulous, it's Lori. She's as real about love as she is about real estate.
And I'm a true New Yorker. So I've seen it from the beginning, and I have maintained friendships all these years. And it makes me feel good, because guess what? I'm the real in real estate. I say it as it is, and I'm proud of my past. Here I am, 24/7, still working, still doing my thing, still matching people, and loving it. That's what it's all about. Love what you do. We all need one thing, to be happy and appreciate. And we also need one more thing, a good friend. Friendship is everything. And this is what it's all about. We're all human. We're here once. Let it be a good once that you're here. Don't have to regret when you're older that you didn't do it. And if you're older, it doesn't mean it's over. You can still keep going. Keep trying. Every day is a beautiful day.
Oh, she's right about that. We're only here once. Roxy, thank you for that report. And thanks to you as well. I'm DeMarco Morgan. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks for streaming. We're back in a moment.